Hello fellow creative people, let me hope we are all doing well and doing great. So in this third video of ours, we are going to be starting with what rights does copyright provide. Okay, so if you are the rightful owner of that something that you have created, so what rights does copyright give you? Okay, so that is what we are going to look at in this video, and more other ideas about copyright, and let us share. And if you are new here, remember to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any of my videos that I happen to put across. Okay, so I would say that first of all, Songtrust is the sponsor of this video. So dear songwriter, copyright owner, or beat maker, please register with Songtrust. The link is in the description of this video at only $90, so that it collects your mechanical and performance royalties worldwide. At just $90, you retain your rights to your music. Okay, so do it now because you are losing out a lot of money. Okay, so the first right copyright gives us, so it gives us the right to reproduce the work in copies or phono records. Okay, it also gives us a right to prepare derivative works based upon the work. Okay, it also gives us an opportunity to distribute copies, or it gives us the right, not an opportunity, it gives us the right to distribute copies or phono records, okay, of the work to the public by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending. Okay, that is all the rights copyright gives us. And it also gives us the right to perform the work publicly. Okay, if it is maybe literally musical, dramatic, or choreographic work, okay, or motion picture or other audiovisual works. So it gives us that right because we are the copyright owners of our works, so we have those rights. Okay, then last but not the least, it gives us the right to display the work publicly if it is literally musical, dramatic. Yeah, we've seen that. So the last one, okay, it gives us the right to perform the work publicly by means of a digital audio transmission if the work is a sound recording. Okay, then the other thing that we should note is that copyright also provides the owner of copyright the right to authorize others to exercise these exclusive rights subject to certain statutory limitations. Okay, so if you are the owner of a certain work, it is you who gives that authority to someone, maybe to remix it. Okay, so you have that authority to accept someone to remix maybe your content, maybe to reuse your content. You would get that authority. You give out that authority. Okay, then the other thing that we could also look at is how long does copyright protection last? Okay, so how long does copyright protection last? So the length of copyright protection depends on when a work was created. Okay, so under the current law, works created on or after January 1st, 1978 have a copyright term of life of the authority. Have a copyright term of life of the author plus 70 years after the author's death. Meaning that if you compose something, you are the rightful owner of that something that you have basically composed. Now, before you die, we say that that something is copyrighted. Okay, up to, so long as you are living. Okay, then after your death, it is still copyrighted 75 years. Okay, after your death. Okay, so besides that, that is all the work that is done after January 1st, 1978, according to the US law. If the work is a joint work, the term lasts for 70 years after the death. Okay, 70 years after the last surviving author's death. Okay, so the first option we saw was when it is owned by one person. Say I wrote a book, so that book is copyrighted for as long as I'm living. Then plus, that is 70 years after the author's death. So it means that add 70 years after my death if I wrote a book. So it basically means that you have to wait other 70 years if you want to redo my content without paying me or without getting authority from me after having composed something. Okay, so that means you will also have died, the one who is expecting to redo my content. So if that content is that authorship was done by more than one person, so we are going to again count either 70 years after the death of the last person on that work. So if we wrote 3 people, maybe someone dies at 100 years, another one dies at maybe 90 years. So when is that last person on that authorship first has to die, and we count 70 years from the death of that last person on that whatever, on that content that you want to redo or to recreate or to take ownership, to take over ownership without requesting or buying it from the rightful owner. Okay, but again there is another situation whereby for works made for hire or anonymous or that is pseudonymous works, copyright protection is 95 years from publication or 120 years from creation. So once it is created, you have to wait for 120 years, between 95 years and 120 years from creation. That is when you'll have to maybe re-own it if you wanted to own it, or recreate it and call it yours. Whichever is shorter, works created before 1976 have a different time frame. Learn more about copyright by visiting that website, that is copyright.gov. So I'm just also that is what I visited, and I'm here teaching you something about copyright. So endeavor to see that you register your songs, but if you're not aiming basically at looking at suing people with your content, so you're the right full ownership, because once you register with any of the song distributors, they have even an option of content ID. So whoever redoes your content and uploads it somewhere, you can claim it and they put it down. So you're already obtaining something like what? Copyright already. Yet in copyright, like for copyright.gov, you cannot track, or if I happen to upload a song and you redo my song and you submit it there, you cannot search on the website to see whether you have a song that resembles yours. So at this time, that is not possible. Okay, so let me hope that we've happened to understand that. So if you find this video useful, please endeavor to say that you subscribe to my channel. I always share a lot of content, when I'm shooting weddings, when I'm shooting weddings, I'm shooting functions, when I'm like doing anything that is basically with music and coverage, because I shoot music videos, I shoot movies, I shoot all sorts of functions, so long as you make a payment and you make a booking and I do music. So endeavor to see that you contact me for anything, and remember to also subscribe. And also I have an offer for you if you're a musician, copyright owner or songwriter. Visit my description, look for a link to Songtrust and register with only paying $90, and you register your songs and you start collecting your mechanical and performance royalties from the music that you create. That is money you are losing out as a musician, as a beat maker, producer or copyright owner. So do it today and start collecting those royalties. So thank you. We continue to the other thing that we have to look after. That is, when can I use works that are not mine? Okay, when can I use works that are not mine? Basically, assuming that everything is copyrighted. So how can I use that work that is not mine? So it is important to know that we are all also copyright users. So whether by default or not, you are a copyright user. You are using something that is already copyrighted, like the phones we use are copyrighted by the companies that make them. The books we read are copyrighted by their owners. Okay? So when we read books, watch movies, listen to music, or use video games or software, we are using copyrighted what? Copyrighted works. Okay? So even if you are not the owner of the work, you still may be able to use it. In addition to buying or licensing works. Do you know that there are websites that help you license the use of works? That is like BMI gives out licenses, SCAP gives out licenses, and you can also visit the different PRO, that is the performance rights organizations in your different countries, because there are PRAs in UK, I think I'm right, and some others that I don't know. There is BMI in the US, there is SCAP in the US, there is CESAC. So all those are PROs that you could team up with, or you could pay for, and they start monitoring that or offering licenses to those people that need to use your music. Okay, so do that now and stop losing out that money. So even if you are not the owner of a work, so you still may be able to use it, in addition to buying or licensing works or some other works of seeking permission to use the work. Okay, you can also use one of the Copyright Act's expeditions and limitations, or rely on works in the public domain. So there are those works that are not copyrighted, they're in the public domain, so you could use those. The Copyright Act exceptions and limitations found in section 107 to 122 include fair use, the first sale doctrine, okay, some reproductions by libraries and archives, certain performances and displays, okay, and displays are broadcast programming transmissions by cable and satellite, to name a few. Interested in more information on fair use, take a look at Fair Use Index. Okay, so take a look at Fair Use Index. So you could type in that. The complete list of expectations to copyright protection can be found in chapter 1. Okay, so you can also use works that are in the public domain. Works in the public domain are those works that are never protected by copyright, like facts and discoveries. Okay, so facts are never copyrighted and discoveries are never copyrighted. Or works whose term of protection has ended, either because it is expired or the owner did not satisfy the previously required formalities for the copyright to act. Okay, then currently all the pre-1926 US works are in the public domain by now. So because copyright protection has expired for those works, so you could go for them. Okay, so the other thing is maybe about copyright is what is copyright registration? So maybe we would look at that. Copyright exists automatically in an original work of authorship. Once it is fixed, that is when it is put into hard copy, but a copyright owner can take steps to enhance protection. Okay, the most important step is registration of the work. Registration of the work, that is the most important step that an author can take to make sure that his work is what? His work is safe. Okay, so copyright registration also provides value to the public overall. Okay, it facilitates the licensing marketplace by allowing people to find copyright ownership information, and it provides the public with notice that someone is claiming copyright protection. It also provides a record of nation's creativity, because it shows the residence of that person who created it, and so on and so forth, according to what you have to do at. Okay, so that is all with what? With copyright. So that is what I could discuss with copyright. Okay, so one other thing, and that is what I would call the last thing about copyright that I'm going to be discussing about copyright. So let me talk about what if there is a change in ownership. Okay, the Copyright Office also records documents related to copyright. That is known as recordation, and means that the office reviews and accepts documents and keeps a record of the documents people provide. So once you sell off the ownership, then provide documents that indicate that you sold out the ownership to someone else. Okay, so the other thing that I would say, please subscribe and hit that bell button and select all. Also remember to register with Songtrust, because you as an artist, you are losing out, okay, a lot of money in form of mechanical and performance royalties. So thank you for watching, and endeavor to see that you subscribe. Thank you.